captain at the helm, navigating waters in this crypto realm. Charts like constellations, I'm mapping the stars. Wallets full of dreams, I'm stacking the bars. Digits dance, decimals do the samba. Markets a jungle, I'm Tarzan in the drama. Blockchain spinning, a digital parade. I'm the tour guide through the mess we wade. Huddle or fold, the question burns. In this game of risk, the tables turn. Good morning, crypto, I light up the haze, guiding the lost through these crypto waves. From FOMO to fortune, I'm paving the ways. BC Port Corp, your lighthouse ablaze. Bull stampede, bears in hibernation. I'm the translator for this strange equation. Ether rising, Bitcoin flexing, altcoins whisper, I'm here dissecting. Rug pulls lurking, shadows in the mist. I see the red flags, they don't make my list. Whales making splashes, minnows feel the quake, but I'm the steady hand when the markets shake. I'm the translator for the strange equation. Ether rising, Bitcoin flexing, altcoins whisper, I'm here dissecting. Rug pulls lurking, shadows in the mist. I see the red flags, they don't make my list. Whales making splashes, minnows feel the quake, but I'm the steady hand when the markets shake. Ablaze.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today is going to be a little bit of a shorter show. My back's giving me some problems, so I'm ready to get out of this chair. But we've got some movements in the markets this morning. We're seeing a little bit of some downside on the TradFi side. Bitcoin, on the other hand, got a massive move towards the upside at 4 o'clock this morning. That's kind of why I wake up at 3 o'clock. So being able to catch some of those big moves as we hit that Asia kill zone. Nice little time to wake up. It's not for everybody, but I like to catch those early morning moves. Before we get into all of that, though, because we did have a big news article, the Fed chairs have been coming out and saying some interesting things, more along the lines of not seeing a rate cut, and the CME Fed Watch tool does not agree with that, and neither does Polymarkets. They're both at like 94% and 99% of a rate cut chance, but we'll kind of have to watch and see how those Fed chairs have been talking and see why some people think we might be getting that rate cut. But before we get into all of that, let's dive on into this stock heat map, because we are seeing a little bit of some downside. We've got Apple sitting down 0.48% this morning. Did see a nice, solid, steady close yesterday, just in that neutral range, not seeing too much of a sell-off. We did see Nvidia up 2.6% yesterday. Looking to the downside this morning a little bit harder, down 0.74. We got Berkshire Hathaway up 0.7%, and looking to the downside this morning 0.31. We've got Amazon down 1.17%, and continuing on some sell-off this morning, down 0.75. We've got Eli Lilly up 5.02% off of its close. That whole health technology sector did extremely good yesterday. A lot of news coming out of the Trump administration. We'll have to dive on into that one on another show. Big part of why I've been investing in the healthcare sector, though. We do have ExxonMobil down 1.29% off of its close, looking a little bit neutral this morning, down 0.06. We've got Tesla down 0.6% this morning. We've got P&G up 0.16. We've got Microsoft down 0.94. We've got Google down 0.79, and we've got Meta down 0.69. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things, because we got a lot of green bubbles here on the daily, but scrolling on down, you're starting to see quite a bit of red here on the hourly. We've got Bitcoin up 3%. We've got Ethereum up 3.2%. We've got XRP taking that spot in the market cap back from Tether and up 3.3%. We've got BNB up 1.8%. Solana up 4.8%. We've got Dogecoin up 5.2%. Tron sitting up 0.5%. We've got Cardano up 5.5%. We've got Chainlink taking that spot in the market cap from a stable token. But we've got some big news coming out of Link that we will touch on tomorrow. A lot of news coming out of the Swift sector. So we will dive into that one a little further tomorrow when we got a little more time. We've got Avalanche up 4.1, Hyperliquid up 3.8. We've got Shui taking a spot in the market cap from Stellar Lumens up 5.7, and Stellar Lumens up 4.4. We've got Bitcoin Cash up 6.5. We've got HBAR up 3.1. We've got Leo token a little bit in the red, down 0.01, and Litecoin up 4%. For those fear and greed meters, we're still looking quite neutral. We've gotten some nice moves towards the upside on the stock side, seeing a little bit of some sell-off today, but a lot of these markets are just waiting to see what kind of data we're going to get from the Fed, government shutdown, nonsense, all of that. Looking a little bit neutral for now. I'm sure Piper will go into that a little bit heavier at 10 a.m. So make sure to tune into that one. He will be breaking some stuff down for you. We've got the crypto markets down a point, still sitting in neutral though. So looking kind of nice for a continued move towards the upside as we get back to some of these key levels we've been talking about over and over and over again. Seeing us remain neutral on those fear and greeds does give me a little bit of hopium here. Hopping over to those liquidations, we've got quite a bit of liquidity that we should keep our eye on. We did take quite a bit of that liquidity this morning, starting to have a little bit stack up to the bottom, but we would need to zoom this out just a little bit here. Take a look at this 3-day. We had a very hot spot that we were talking about the other day that we grabbed this morning. Got to zoom that out just a little bit further here. Hopefully this 2-week works. I don't know why it hasn't been working for the past week. Let's see if it loads. There we go. Finally getting that 2 week to load. We've got quite a bit of liquidity below us. But here you can start to see the liquidity that is back up at the top side here. Got to zoom it out a little bit further, but this is a key level that we've talked about for quite a while. That's 118,600. We will see if we can get up there and grab that liquidity. Zooming out just a little bit further, this 1 month really shows you what we're looking for here. We've got a very broad range towards the top side here, starting at 120,000 and coming all the way down to that 118,200. So keep your eye on that liquidity directly above us, and we will see if we can get up there and grab it. We do have some data coming out today as well. We will need to keep our eyes on. First data for the day going to be some mortgage rate applications. We get our 30-year mortgage rates, we get our mortgage rate application, and the housing market index. Not some massive market movers, but stuff I like to keep my eye on. The big data for today, though, is going to be the ADP employment change. Looking like a move towards the downside off of that forecast was 54,000 prior, looking at 50,000 this time around. So keep your eye on that. Heavy data drop coming out at 8:15 this morning. Scrolling on down a little bit further here, we also get ISM manufacturing PMI. Looking like a slight increase on that forecast, a little bit of hopium to kind of continue towards the upside. We will kind of have to keep our eyes on that one. We get our normal crude oil stock information as well today. Not a big market mover, but something to keep your eye on. Another big one for this evening is going to be some data out of Australia. We've got that balance of trade for that Asia market trading time zone, so keep your eye on that one as well. That's going to be balance of trade, some imports and exports. That's the big mover for the Asia market time zone. We also have Japan's consumer confidence and the Bank of Japan's Uchida coming out with a speech. So those two big market movers to kind of keep your eye on for Asia. See if we can get that continuation towards the upside here. Let's say good morning to the chat. Before we dive on into this Bitcoin chart, I'm seeing some people I don't normally see here this morning. We've got David Digital in the chat. Let's see. Let's see what he says. 1S in the chat if you are long. I already took profits on my long. I don't care if it keeps going, potential to keep going, but I enter my trades super early. I like to dive in at like 3:30 in the morning, and I caught most of that move towards the upside. We got Steve Hickey in the chat. Good morning to you. We got Donato Cabrera in here. We've got Curtis Hill as well. Looks like he was enjoying some of that music this morning. We've got Redmond in the chat. Good morning to you. We've got Jay Violet in Australia. Good evening to you. Let's see who else we got. We got JR King Degen in the chat. Good morning, sir. Let's see who else. We got Darren Does Things in here. Good morning. Hope you're having a great day so far. Anyone else in here? We got JR being an absolute degen. Maybe don't be so much of a degen in the chats, JR. Say things nicely. But let's see. That looks like it for the morning so far. Let's dive on into this Bitcoin chart because we did talk about some upside potentials here. We wanted to see us hold some of these key levels towards the upside. We did get that nice move back above our golden pocket fib extension here. We did talk about that level before, and we're waiting to see if we can get to the top side of the CME gap, which did have a bunch of sell pressure above it. We've got that liquidity back up here at 118,600. That is also that point of control area that we are going to be watching for. It was resistance last time. We'll have to see if we can get above it this time. This daily does have quite a bit of hopium for a continued move towards the upside here. Everything isn't literal and rude like in America, says JR. Well, I didn't say it was rude, but we like to keep things family friendly. Family friendly. It's a family show. Not necessarily a family, but we like to keep the cursing to a minimum here. You don't hear me on the YouTube and me in my private life are two very different ways of talking. But yeah, we've got that move towards the upside here on that MACD line, breaking above our indicator line, trying to break above this 0 line as well as we're printing that green candle here on the daily. So really waiting to see if we can get that continuation towards the upside here with a little bit of some green money flow on that shorter term time frame. We've been talking about it for a while now, and that's what we're waiting to see. We've been getting extremely close to having this daily money flow finally break into the green. We're getting those nice big bodied candles here, and that's what we've been talking about here in the morning, wanting to see that money flow really start to impact our daily money flow. And we're starting to get that move back towards our 0 line with a little more strength here. We are extremely close to breaking into some green money flow here on the daily, as we have that prime oscillator also getting that curvature back towards the upside here, just waiting on that money flow to make its way over to this daily time frame and give us that switch from light red to green here. Our volume is starting to pick back up as well, so let's watch those shorter term time frames, really see if we can get that bleed over into the daily, because that will be the move that can give us that next leg towards the upside here. Let's take a look at this 4 hour. 4 hour also getting some curvature back towards the upside here as we approach the top side of that CME gap that we've talked about for quite a while. It is an older CME gap, but it is a nice area that has given us some resistance and support before, so that's why I like to keep those open and pay attention to them. We do have this curvature here on the prime oscillator back towards the upside, as that money flow here on the 4 hour is just starting to break into some positive money flow as we get that volume increase as well. So really watching to see what happens once we get back to that point of control through this sideways range where we made our bottom side here at 111,800 and our new all-time highs back at 124. Really need to get back above that point of control and turn it into some support to see us continue towards the upside here. The Dusty Hunt saying need more volume through October. Most definitely. Our volume has been extremely low on those higher term time frames though, and that's why I've really been waiting to see that shorter term time frame start bleeding into the higher term time frame. It looks like we are headed that way now, so need to get above that point of control first, and then we could potentially see some of that start to increase. We are seeing some very strong inflows over on those Bitcoin ETFs as well, so a little volume coming in from over there as well. Let's take a look at this 1 hour here. 1 hour is seeing a little bit of some toppiness here, but nothing overly concerning for right now. We do have an overbought signal. You've got your prime oscillator heading a little bit sideways, but that MACD has a lot of width from that indicator line, still pointing towards the upside, but not doing it as harshly as it was prior. We will kind of have to wait to see if we can get a little bit of cool off for now, and then see if we can continue on towards the upside here. This midline does look a little bit nice. To see if we can get some bouncing off of it would be a little bit of a dip towards the downside, about 115,300. That'd be a nice area for some support. We don't have to come all the way down there though. We do have some areas as well to kind of keep our eye on directly below us. That's coming in at about 115,800. So a few little areas directly below us if we do get a short pullback before we see a little bit of continuation towards the upside. This hourly money flow is looking extremely nice as well, and that volume also picking back up this morning. 15-minute seeing a little bit of some cool off as we get that sideways momentum, looking quite nice for a little bit of continuation if we can see that money flow maintaining in the green here. Seeing a little bit of some pullback would not be too unexpected, but we are doing a little bit of flagging out here on the 15-minute. Not a whole lot of movements in either direction. A lot of indecision candles. So would wait to see if we can get that pushback down first before we get that pushback up above our CME gap. So that's kind of what I'm looking for some Bitcoin. We didn't end up catching the trade yesterday. I don't know what's been going on with my limit orders, but might have to just start marketing in and eat a little bit of those fees. So let's see what we got for some alt requests this morning. We've got Alex and Moto in here as well, saying good morning to everyone. All right, y'all drop some alt requests. Let me get over to this news, and then we'll see what's going on with a few of these alts here. This is a big news article. We talked about some Fed chair speeches, and I've been keeping my eye on them because, they've been coming out with the same consensus that things are moderately restrictive and inflation is a bit of a worry right now. And Fed Logan really came out and said it, She said the U.S. may need a little more slack in our job market to hit that 2% inflation target. Scrolling on down here, the U.S. labor market likely needs to weaken further for the Federal Reserve to achieve its 2% inflation target, as prices are rising even faster without factoring in the impact of new import tariffs, Dallas Fed President Logan said on Tuesday. Logan urged caution in making further interest rate cuts while being bullish on the economy but hawkish about persistent inflation risks. Current monetary policy is putting only modest pressure on an economy in which consumption remains resilient. Asset values are high and sentiment seems to be rebounding, she said in comments prepared for a delivery at the Dallas Fed event. A modest further increase in labor market slack is likely necessary to finish restoring price stability, Logan said. I will be cautious about further rate cuts. It is critical for the FOMC to keep its commitment to deliver the 2% inflation, she added, referring to the U.S. Central Bank's policy setting Federal Open Market Committee. So, looking like a few of these Fed chairs are really starting to worry about those inflation targets. And as you can see here, as these Fed chairs keep talking about inflation and things being all right on their interest rate, you have the CME Fed Watch tool absolutely ripping towards the upside on their chance for a rate cut, which is kind of confusing me just a little bit when all of these Fed chairs are talking about, we might not need to cut rates going further, and we need to see how this all plays out. The markets are like bullish. Let's cut some more rates, and we will kind of have to see what happens. Poly market's sitting at a 99% chance for a rate cut. So a little bit confused on my end when all of these Fed board members are talking about, hey, things are looking all right for a little bit of restriction, which we need to hit our 2% inflation targets, and the markets don't seem to care. So definitely looking to see how this goes forward. I do see a few alt requests starting to come on in here this morning. We've got ADA and Ethereum requested. We got any other alt requests? I got about 10 minutes to get through some alts because I don't know how much longer I can sit in this chair. We do have I do have an inversion table coming tomorrow, so hopefully that gives me a little bit of help there. We've got ADA, ETH, and AVAX. So let's take a look at those. See if we got time for another one after AVAX, ETH, and ADA. All right, we will take a look at those and then see if we got time for some other ones. All right, let's dive on into Ethereum first, making some moves back towards the upside there. Oh, wrong one. Let's get over to my alts. That has all of my chartery. There we go. We did see a little bit of a rejection off of 4,210. That was an area we've been wanting to see us get back above, turn into some support. We got that nice bounce above it, and we're waiting to see if we can get that continuation here. We do have an area above that I would kind of look for. It's an area we've talked about before. That's $4,500. You can see that came in as some resistance, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 5 times here. You can see that rejection off of it, 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 and that rejection off of it here. So definitely looking like an area that we will need to keep our eyes on here as we get this move towards the upside. You do have plenty of room to kind of run here if you can continue to see some green money flow. We are sitting with that money flow a little bit towards the red here. Going to be keeping my eye on that shorter term time frame to see if we can continue to get that bleed over into the higher term time frame, because unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum has been holding its green money flow on the daily just a little bit better here. You've got that MACD ready to break our indicator line towards the upside here, so really waiting to see how this morning starts going as we get some of this data this morning and see if we can maintain some of this green money flow here on the hourly, have those big body green candles that we love so much continue and bleed over into our higher term time frame here. We do see a little bit of some flagging on out this morning, kind of similar to Bitcoin, really waiting to see if we can get that continuation above our current levels of $4,320. That is our local resistance area. We will need to get above first before we can continue towards the upside. To see a little bit of some pullback here as well, not too unexpected, I'd keep my eye on about $4,250. That's an area we saw some resistance. It has been resistance more than a few times as well. That is an area to do a little bit of some bouncing on top of if we actually get a little more pullback instead of just flagging out and running a little bit sideways here. So that would be that level towards the bottom I would really keep my eye on. 15-minute getting a little bit of some sideways momentum here though, so definitely looking like you could see some continued flagging out, really grab a little bit of liquidity below us. That would come in, you know, that 4,250 area. Not a massive move towards the downside, but a nice area to really grab some liquidity out, run some of those longs, liquidate some of those long positions before you continue that move towards the upside here. Seeing a little bit of sideways momentum on both that MACD and prime oscillator as that money flow tries to maintain in the green here. So do have a few areas directly below us, but that area to really break above is going to be that 4,320 target, and then you could really continue towards the upside with some strength there, because there's not a whole lot of price movements in between here and there. So that'd be that next real area to keep your eye on, is $4,500. All right, let's get over to ADA here and see what we got going on. ADA making those stronger moves back towards the upside. We finally got above 80 cents here. Let's take a look at this daily, see what we got going on. Zoom this on out a little bit more here. We are breaking above that 50% on the retracement here, getting that nice move off of 80 cents. That has been an area we've done battle with over and over again. And that next little target towards the upside is going to be 88 cents. We've got that prime oscillator and MACD both looking a little bit nice for some continuation on our higher term time frames as we get this big green bodied candles here. Could definitely continue towards the upside if we can get that momentum heading our way. MACD and prime oscillator both primed to get that continued move towards the upside. To see a little bit of some pullback though, not unexpected. Things looking pretty much the same across the board. Let's get that zoomed on in just a little bit there. As you can see, we're doing a little bit of testing on some levels that we had seen above that 50%. We got that nice little sideways range directly on top of it, looking like we're trying to break above our current resistance at 83.5 cents right now. That'd be that first area to kind of see us get above and continue towards the upside on. Definitely looking like that 50% line could be hit though. That's coming in at 82 cents. That'd be a nice area to see some support at if we do get a little bit of some pullback to cool off the oscillators on the shorter term time frame here. Hourly is getting a little bit of curvature, but it's doing so with that volume picking up and some money flow being in the green. 15-minute is seeing a little bit of some flagging out as well. So definitely looking like you're seeing a little sideways momentum starting to come on in. To do so with that price moving a little bit sideways is nice to cool off those oscillators. Really gives you that cool off here on the prime oscillator, and that MACD would cool off a little as well with that sideways momentum, pulling those indicator lines and MACD lines a little bit closer so you can get that next real curvature back towards the upside there. So ADA does have a few price points before we get to 88 cents, and that first one's coming in at about 84.5 cents. We did get a lot of play off of that area. You can see the bouncing here and the rejection here. So about 84.5 to 85 cents would be that area I would kind of watch for the upside on ADA. We are trying to get a little bit of some continuation here. ADA's looking a little bit nice now that it is above that 80-cent price point. That next real upside target, 88 cents. So we will see if we can get all the way back up there. Above that, we got that 97-cent target, and then we'll see if we can make our way to $1. All right, let's see what we're looking like on AVAX here, and then I'll have to wind the show on down. I can't do a whole lot longer. I'm so ready for this inversion table. Let's see. AVAX looking a little bit nice as it breaks above that golden pocket. Let's get this zoomed on out to our daily time frame here. We got Alexander G in the chat. Drop those mod queen emojis if you got them. And we got French Toaster in the chat. It's been a little while since I've seen you in the chats in here. So glad you were able to make it. We got that new time as I don't have an hour drive in the mornings anymore. So you got the golden pocket looking like a nice little area to hold some support at for AVAX. We're seeing that nice sideways momentum and looking a little more bullish than some of these other projects have. Got an area directly above us to kind of contend with first, and that's going to be coming in at $32. That is the top side of an old fair value gap. It is closed out, and we're really waiting to see us hold this golden pocket as some support here. As you can kind of see, that next real upside target would be $34.50. That is an area from way back here. It came in as some resistance on the higher term time frame. Get that hourly pulled up there. You can see how heavily we rejected off of it and tried to hold here and here as well. So next real area to kind of contend with is going to be that $34.50. If we can get above $32, the top side of that old fair value gap, and see if this golden pocket holds us some support first. We are doing a little bit of flagging out directly above that. Could definitely see just a tiny bit of pullback before we really get that continuation towards the upside here. We are in a very bullish trend here, higher lows and higher highs. So really waiting to see if we can get above that 32-cent price point first, and that'll give us some nice room to run towards the upside here. As you can see, when we get above that, we have some very quick movements down, and when we got above it here, we had those very quick movements towards the upside. So definitely an area where price moves through a little bit quickly. Would wait to see if we can get above that first, or if we reject back down, kind of do some testing in the areas of about 3140. That's a nice little area to kind of keep your eye on. Let's get that short-term time frame drawn on out for you so you can see it just a little bit better there. We got all those candle bodies and wicks coming in off of that area. So $31.37. That's an area of interest in the short-term time frame. Could get a little bit of a rejection off of that with how toppy that hourly is looking. The 15-minute probably looking quite similar to everything else. And not as similar as everything else was. Seeing a little bit of a harsher pullback on that MACD. Prime oscillator is running a little bit sideways though, so definitely waiting to see if we can get that continuation of some money flow in. We are sitting in the red on that prime oscillator, got some overbought signals, and our third reversal signal has flashed, so definitely an area to kind of watch for. Going to be that golden pocket range in line with the midline of that fair value gap. That's coming in at about $30.40. So that's that level towards the bottom side. You got a few levels towards the top side to kind of contend with as well. If you don't hold at that golden pocket, $29.64 looks a little bit like an area where we could hold for some support. That's where we got all those bounces off of. Screw that magnet, it's so annoying. There we go. $29.64 would be that area towards the bottom side if you don't hold that golden pocket area. All right, it is 6:16. I'm gonna send y'all out a little bit early here. If you missed anything, drop it in the Discord, give me a little tag, and I will try to get to that. I will see y'all in the chats today. We've got two other shows here on the Piper Academy. That's that morning market report with Piper and OC. We've got some heavy data to really get into today. I'm sure Piper will talk about quite a bit of information, as we did have a little bit of some worries on yesterday's show, so keep your eyes for that. That'll be at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We also got trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern, and that's the best place to be in the evenings if you like doing some trading and you like to have a little bit of fun. That man is an absolute wizard on the charts. But until then, make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day.